fight next?
That's what I'm talking about. That's the question right there. I want to unify at 135. Me and Shakur already talked to each other, and if he's available and we can line it up, that's what we're going to do.
Really? Wait, y'all spoke like this? Yo, let's get this popping.
For sure.
Like
what are you
that.
talking about? If he beats Tank, he's fighting Tank again. Obviously, there's a rematch.
But we talking about past that. We talking past that because you got to give him the option to tell what he gonna do. So you talk personally to Shakur, no managers, whatever.
Yeah.
Wow.
Personally, he cool.
Okay.
Gervonta took a knee. That's automatically a knockdown. These are the rules of boxing. This is like ABCDs at this point. If you confused, then you either really casual or just a fanboy. This is not up for debate. I mean, Gervonta can have an excuse to why he took a knee.
Even without the knee, that should have been a knockdown. I thought I should have won a competitive fight. I think I did what I needed to do necessary to bank the rounds. I'm just a little...
The World Boxing Association has officially canceled a rematch between Von Davis and Lamont Roach following another appeal from Roach's team. Talks about the rematch have been put on hold as the organization reassesses the situation. Until a final decision is made, the fight remains suspended. A panel of 7 boxing officials, including referees, judges, and WBA executives, has been formed to thoroughly review the case and ensure a fair outcome. Meanwhile, both fighters are free to take on other opponents.
4 cards. Judge at the ringside, Eric Marlinsky scores it on 115 to 113 in favor of Gervonta Davis. Judges Steve Weisfeld and Glenn Feldman both scored about 114 to 114, even a draw. The decision is a majority draw.
This update comes despite Lamont Roach recently stating in an interview that the rematch was expected to take place in June or July. Roach had confidently said that negotiations were moving quickly during a podcast appearance. He made it clear that he does not want referee Steve Willis involved in their next fight. Hell no, he can't ref the next fight, Roach insisted. Look at how many mistakes he made. Davis went to the corner for help after taking a knee. I'm not saying it was cheating, but his coach wiped his face with a towel. You can't do that. That's a disqualification. And when he turned his back on the ref after taking a knee, normally the ref would call the fight off.
Now officially moving up to 35?
I mean, we gonna see. I mean, so I'm gonna be the champ at both weights.
Right.
And if there's no opportunity to unify at 35, I want to unify.
Roach had petitioned the New York State Athletic Commission to overturn the fight's result, but his request was denied. Despite this, both teams initially agreed that an immediate rematch was the best course of action, with reports suggesting a possible June date. I'm signed, sealed, and ready, Roach said. We're just waiting on the other side to do the same. However, after Roach's team pushed for further review, the situation took a turn. Their request inadvertently delayed the rematch, even though they had hoped for the opposite outcome. While the fight on March 1st didn't generate much hype before it happened, it has become one of the biggest topics in boxing in the weeks following.
Naj, you got anything else from Lamont?
Yo, last question. I just want to know, how has your life changed since the fight, man? You know, obviously we follow each other on social media. I see your followers went up, all of the other stuff kind of going up. How has things changed for you since the fight has happened?
Bruh, literally overnight, it changed. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I got walk around with security. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I walk around with my peoples. Like, it's crazy. I can't do the same stuff that I used to do.
The controversy stems from the 9th round, where Davis took a knee, went to his corner for assistance, had his face wiped with a towel, and then continued fighting, without any penalty from referee Steve Willis. The fight ultimately ended in a majority draw, opening the door for a rematch between the two lightweight contenders. Many fans believe Davis was overrated going into the fight, considering he was a favorite but failed to secure a win. However, Roach, who spent 12 rounds in the ring with him, had a different perspective. During his March 18th appearance on the It Is What It Is podcast, he addressed the debate.
I can't go to the grocery store. I can't go nowhere, bro. Like, I can't do nothing. And it's crazy. Like, it's just crazy because I know that that's what this come with if I get to the level that I'm supposed to be. But when it really happened to you, like, you sit back and look at it like, damn, like this really happened.
I want people to know he was at his best that night. Roach said, just because he didn't meet expectations doesn't mean he had a bad fight. People are calling him trash and overrated, but he's a great fighter. I was in there with him, and I had to be on my A game. That's why it was such a great fight. So, both Davis and Roach will have the opportunity to prove who the better fighter is when they face off again later this year.
They did this.
Truthfully speaking, it wasn't really hard to focus. I've been an underdog before, obviously not a huge underdog, but when you go back to the Jamel fight, world title fight, I was an underdog. When you go back to the Hector fight, I was an underdog. Very disrespectful underdog, honestly. So now when we get here to the Tank fight, it's just like, all right, here we go again. I feel like when my back is against the wall or against the ropes, it's like, it's time to show up.
Perception of undefeated WBA lightweight champion Von Tank Davis has changed dramatically since his March 1st fight against Roach ended in a draw. Many fans believe Roach did enough to hand Davis his first professional loss. One of the biggest points of contention is the 9th round. Since Davis wasn't penalized for taking a knee, an action that should have resulted in a 10-8 round for Roach instead of a 10-9 for Davis, it's clear that the final score could have been different.
That fight that they had was a phenomenal fight. That joint was like one of the fights, I feel like could be one of the fights of the year. Yeah. High level, skill level, 2 boxers in there, but still trying to fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was a hell of a fight. You know what I'm saying? And I understand a fight like that because I fight how they was fighting. I just feel like I do a better job at it.
Okay. Davis entered the fight as the overwhelming favorite. Known for being one of the hardest pound-for-pound punchers, many expected him to knock out Roach early, but that didn't happen. Now, fans are questioning whether Davis was overhyped or if Roach simply exceeded expectations. WBO lightweight champion Keyshawn Davis, who holds a 13-0 record with 9 knockouts, hopes to fight the winner of the Davis-Roach rematch. During a recent appearance on the Porterway podcast, he shared his thoughts.
Whoever wins that is number 3 for me. That's how I feel.
Sauce Walker was just here the other day.
Yeah.
I asked him what he thought about the fight. He's a huge boxing fan. You know that?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Huge boxing fan. He knows how to box, too. He knows how to throw his hands.
He showed me some videos.
Yeah, he said,
I
want to see that. I said, what do you think happened? He said, he said, Roach won convincingly.
Yeah.
He said, he said, I don't care about the knee. He goes, but I'm going to tell you what. If I were Roach, I ain't doing the rematch.
I don't think Davis got exposed, Keyshawn said. I just think Lamont was better than people expected. Lamont can really fight. I thought Tank would knock him out, so he proved me wrong. But I don't think Tank got exposed. Props to Keyshawn for staying respectful, unlike others in the boxing community who've been quick to criticize Davis.
Who won, Tank or Lamont?
This is my opinion.
Sure.
It was a great fight. It was a close fight. Depending on what they do with that decision of taking the knee, depending if the commission reverses the decision or if, I think a draw was meant to be. So I like the draw.
Some believe Davis is no longer the fighter he once was, and Oscar De La Hoya has weighed in on the matter. In an interview with Fight Hype TV, De La Hoya discussed WBC interim lightweight champion William Zepeda, who won the title by defeating Tevin Farmer in 2024. De La Hoya suggested that after his rematch with Farmer on March 29th, Zepeda could face Shakur Stevenson and eventually challenge Davis for a title unification bout, especially now that Davis's rematch with Roach is uncertain.
Like the knee though, was that a good call on the ref? No, if you take a knee, man, if you take a knee in the 90s or in 2000, you're taking a point off. That's the bottom line. You're taking a point off. I don't know what happened with the referee. Maybe he was a little starstruck. Maybe he was a little, because he loves Tank. He loves New York. He loves the big lights. The referee with the eyes,
De La Hoya didn't hold back, saying that if Davis performs the same way he did against Roach, he wouldn't stand a chance against the WBC champion. This single fight seems to have shifted the landscape of potential matchups, including the possibility of Davis facing Stevenson, a fight he had previously avoided.
I could have stopped him. It's me. Definitely my fault. Definitely my fault.
For now, Davis remains focused on finalizing the rematch with Roach. The controversial draw at Barclays Center marked the first blemish on his otherwise perfect record. One judge scored the fight 115 to 113 for Davis, while the other two had it 114 to 114, resulting in a majority draw. The decision was met with boos from the 19,250 fans in attendance.
Enough to get the victory over a spectacular fighter. I told y'all from the beginning, man, that.
With the draw, Davis, 30-0-1, retained his WBA lightweight title, while Roach, 25-2-1, gained massive respect, even though he didn't become a two-division champion that night. "I'm disappointed," Roach said. "I thought I did enough to win, but we can run it back." Davis, on the other hand, believed he had done enough in the final rounds to secure the victory, but the result told a different story.
It's all right. You know what I mean? You live and you learn. I definitely could have. That was on me, too. That was on me for sure. Because I ain't pick it up when I supposed to pick it up. And
according to CompuBox stats, Roach outworked Davis over the 12 rounds, landing 112 of 400 total punches, compared to Davis's 103 of 279. While Davis had a slight edge in power shots, 93 of 210 versus Roach's 87 of 252, it was clear that Roach's work rate made a difference.
And I'm just glad I got to show it, honestly. I'm glad I got to show it. I appreciate, like I said before, I appreciate True Boxing Media. Some guys that didn't count me out. So that's just how I feel, man. I think
the biggest controversy remains the 9th round. Referee Steve Willis initially began a knockdown count when Davis took a knee, but then allowed Davis's corner to assist him, an illegal move. If Willis had correctly called it a knockdown or penalized Davis's team, Roach might have won the fight.
He did more. Definitely did more. Just a lot going on. But again, it was myself.
Fans reacted strongly, with many feeling that Roach was robbed of victory. Even Terrence Crawford commented,
I won, and I can't wait to do it again. I can't wait to dance again.
All right, guys, raise your hand. We'll get you a mic, so try to be patient because we will try to get to you.
Hey, Lamont. Over here.
What's up?
Yo, what's up? Hey.
I've never seen someone take a knee and it not be counted as a knockdown.
But you gotta go to the gym and, get back to the drawing board and, train a little harder.
Regardless of what the WBA decides, the boxing world is eagerly waiting for the rematch. The first fight, despite not having major hype, broke records at Barclays Center. With the added controversy, the second bout could be even bigger.
Hey, Davis.
Truthfully speaking, it wasn't really hard to focus. I've been an underdog before, obviously not a huge underdog, but when you go back to the Jamel fight, world title fight, I was an underdog. When you go back to the Hector fight, I was an underdog. Very disrespectful underdog, honestly. So now when we get here to the Tank fight, it's just like, all right, here we go again. I feel like when my back is against the wall or against the ropes, it's like, it's time to show up.
Lamont Roach has gained significant recognition as the first man to stop Davis from winning in his 31-fight career. The demand for a definitive winner is at an all-time high. Stay tuned for updates on this highly anticipated showdown.